Hey, it's Eric Lee with Starfish Coaching and Designers Business Academy. Welcome back to another episode of my Business Tips for Designers series. This time, I'm going to share with you 5 sales conversion strategies that can win over your next client. So if you're an interior designer but have your own business, then you know the biggest difference between having your own business and working for someone else as a designer is that you have to bring in the work. You have to get the lead and, of course, sign the job so that you can keep your business going. So that's why I wanted to give you some tips on how to better convert your next project. Now, I would say that sales doesn't come naturally to most creatives like designers. They are artists typically, and they like to just do the artistic work. But because you're a business owner, sales is probably one of the most important things that you have to do. And that's why I actually put together a whole sales and marketing module in my business training that you can find at designersbusinessacademy.net. Check it out and see how it can help you. Okay, now let's talk about 5 things that you can do to help better your sales conversion in the next consultation. First of all is your pricing strategy. Now, there's a huge range of pricing for designers out there. There's ones that's really high ticket, and then there's ones that's lower. And this all is relative to their experience. You have to put yourself in your consumer's shoes. What they are looking at is, am I willing to pay this price for the expertise that I think I'm getting? And that's really the big question in a consumer's mind when they're looking at your proposal or in the consultation with you. They are assessing your expertise and experience. And of course, ultimately, the question is, can you solve their design problem? And if you can demonstrate that you have, either through your past experience and expertise, then they will pay the price that they feel comes with your level of expertise. So my tip here is to set your price according to the experience level that you can show on your website or your portfolio. If you're a new designer and just starting out and you don't have much to show in your portfolio, then your price should naturally be lower because that's what people are going to assess. And by having that lower price, you're going to get a higher chance of getting the job done. And having a lower price point, that's going to make it easier for consumers to say yes to you. Of course, if you are an established designer, then you should not be setting your price so low because then the consumers are going to think, wait a minute, this designer might not be able to do the work. That's why they're setting the price so low. If you have a great portfolio and good testimony to back that up, then you could charge a little bit more. So it goes both ways. Don't set your price point too low where the client doesn't have confidence in your abilities or there's a mismatch based on what they see in your portfolio. And don't set your price too high if you don't have the portfolio to back it up. The nice thing about interior design is that you can always set a new price when you get that new project. Unless it's a repeat client, of course. So don't be afraid of setting a price and thinking that you have to stick with it forever. No, the next project that you get, you're going to get a whole new way to assess your pricing. That's the beauty of it. Tip number 2 for new designers, especially those that don't have much under their belt in terms of portfolio, then I would say maybe create small packages first. The thing with the consumer psychology is that it's much easier for people to say yes to a low ticket item versus a high ticket item. Think about it for yourself. When you go out and buy a pair of shoes that's $100 or $200, it won't take much research on that product for you to spend that money. But if you are spending on a professional that's charging $1,000 to $5,000 or $10,000 to $15,000, then that's a different thing. You're going to spend much more time doing research. So my tip here for newer designers that has a bit of a weaker portfolio is to create smaller packages that it's easy for people to say yes to. This could be a on-site consultation for a set price. It could be a color consultation. It could be a decor package for one room. It could even be an e-consultation where you're not even having to go on site, so you can charge them less. And you just look at their photos or do a video call and then providing a final design report with your recommendations. So there's many things that you can part out and make it a much smaller amount that people can say yes to. So just get creative with what you can provide for a low price point Get a few of those under your belt, and then at least you have something to show in your portfolio. And even from that, you can still get testimonials, reviews, and referrals from that client to build up the credibility for your services. Okay, tip 3 here is to build trust and credibility. Do that as soon as you can and as much as you can, because that really is what will make the customer say yes or no to your service. And I've talked about this psychological consumer psychology many times. It's basically know, like, trust, buy. So people have to go through those steps before they say yes to you. And the trust step is probably the biggest step. That's why you want to build as much credibility in your services and your work as possible. This can be done through social media. If you have some jobs that you're doing, post that up so people see that you're actually doing design work and it's not just a front. It could be reviews and testimonies from your existing clients or past jobs. That again shows credibility that you've done some work before. It could be an article or someone speaking about you. It could be photos about your job. That's really nice, especially for design clients, so they can see visually your work, your style. And it could even be you offering design advice on some talk or some webinar. That paints you as the industry expert. Whatever you do, make sure you post it up on your socials or your website, because that's your digital storefront. And that's where people will see it so that they can have trust and credibility. If you do it right, then you would have built so much trust and credibility before the customer even walks into your door for that consultation that they're going to say yes that much easier. 4 is to have confidence in your abilities. I would say this is one of the common weaknesses in new designers, and it's understandable because they haven't been in the industry or have done so many projects themselves to build up that confidence. There's imposter syndrome that kicks in. But if you understand the psychology of sales, then it's all about confidence. If the client can see that you have confidence in your work, then they are going to believe you that much more. So even if you don't have much projects under your belt, I would use this term loosely, fake it until you make it. And I don't mean being an imposter, but I do mean that you need to build up that confidence so that you can lead them and get them to believe in you. As long as you're not misleading them and promising them something that you can't deliver, then it's okay displaying more confidence than how you actually feel inside. Then the final tip here is to be honest and authentic about what you can provide. This, although sounds like a contradiction to my last tip about displaying confidence, it actually supports it. You want to be honest and authentic. You don't want to be misleading anyone. I think people are smart enough these days to smell a scam if they see it. So be honest and authentic about what you can provide, but also have confidence about it. It goes to my last point about not trying to sell something that you can't deliver on. But if you're truly authentic, then people connect with you on a different level. And as interior designers, many clients look for those who they can vibe with. And if you are sharing your authentic self, then that can lead to a great long-term relationship with that client. And I'll be the first one to admit, as an interior designer of 25 years, some of my best client relationships are those that I vibe very well with because I'm authentic to them. So if you're a new designer and this is your first job, be honest about it. Share with them that, hey, this is my first job, but I've done this, this, and this, either in school or for another company. I have confidence in what I can provide for you, and maybe offer them a deep discount so that you get a chance to show them what you can do. I find that sometimes when you come across that authentic, then people just like you. And because of that, you actually get that job. So there you go, 5 tips that can help you convert your next job. I hope you like this episode, and if you do, please share it with your contacts so that I can help them with their design business. I'm Eric Lee with Starfish Coaching and Designers Business Academy, where we help designers find business success.